Hi there. I expect you're wondering what the hell I'm doing in front of the camera instead of behind the camera. I'm beginning to wonder that myself actually, but I've got some big changes coming up and I wanted to tell you about it, and I thought the video was the best way of doing it. Basically, over the last few months, or since about October last year, I've been in complete turmoil in my personal life. Basically, I've just admitted to myself and accepted that I'm actually a transgender woman, and that I need to change my body. So commonly what most people would call as a sex change. Sorry if that's a real shock to you. It's a shock to me as well. But here's a bit of background. Firstly, what I want to do is explain what gender dysphoria is all about, in case you're not already aware of it. Basically, when a baby is born, the midwife looks at the baby and looks at its genitals and just decides to set whether it's a boy or a girl. Seems fairly straightforward, but not always, because what all they're seeing is their sex characteristics, their genitals. They're not seeing what's going on inside their head. And your gender identity is much more about what's going on inside your head rather than what's between your legs. And for most people, they're very lucky in that their gender identity matches their sex characteristics. And to them, I say, well, lucky them, that's great. But there's a lot of people, myself included, who that's not the case. And so we've got a problem with that. So if there's a mismatch there, and that's called gender dysphoria, where you think that you're the opposite sex to your sex characteristics. Now, being self-employed, there's no protection. It's not as if I work for an employer and I'm protected by anti-discrimination laws in the workplace or anything. There's nothing like that. When you're self-employed, if a client doesn't want to stop using me, they'll just stop using me. The phone will stop ringing. They'll just use somebody else, and that's a huge worry for me. So that's part of the purpose of this particular video. So what I decided to do is, instead of just sort of hiding away for 5 years while I transition and then come back as female, my transition is going to be very public, very bold and very out there. So no apologies for that. That's just how it's got to be. I've got no choice really. I've just got to face up to it. I would say man up, but that would be the wrong thing to say, wouldn't it, in this situation? Okay, so what's next? Well, I'll be starting on hormone replacement therapy, HRT, very soon, which should start to give me the feminine curves that I would like and that I need in order to be happy. It's a slow progress, so I'm not all of a sudden going to be turning up with massive, great big double E breasts all of a sudden. It's just not going to happen like that. It's a very gradual process. I'm going to start growing my hair longer, what I've got left of it. But in the meantime, when I'm out and about in my female form, I'll be wearing a wig. So sometimes it'll be like that. Sometimes it'll be with my hair, just depending on the progress I make. Hopefully, with the HRT, that will reverse some of my male pattern baldness, the hair thinning that I've got. I really hope it does. It's something that I'm very worried about, to be honest. I'll get my ears pierced once I go full time as female as well. I'll be having facial hair removal as well. But the trouble with that is you have to have 3 days worth of growth before you do it. So I don't want to go full time as female straight away, because it would just be a nightmare trying to do that, going around with 3 days worth of growth. So for a while I'm going to be carrying on outwardly as male. Just because it'll be easier, and then at some point I'll switch over to living full time as female. I'll have to have some voice coaching as well, because obviously you don't want to have a woman with a deep voice like this. So I need some work on that, and then I'll be changing my name. The name I use when I'm in my female form is Katie. It's actually the name that my parents would have called me had I been born a girl. And I like the name anyway, so that's what it'll be, Katie Neeves. I've decided not to change the name of my business, actually. I did think about it, but I've been running my business for 22 years and I've built up a really good reputation, a really good name. It's a strong personal brand. My logo is pretty strong on my name as well. And I think, well, actually, what's wrong with being Katie Neeves of Martin Neeves Photography and Film? Rather than if I changed it to Katie Neeves Photography and Film, it'd be like starting from scratch again. And think of all the brilliant reviews that I've got on Free Index and everything. It'd be just like starting from scratch. So I think I'll keep it the same. Why not? And in some ways, it's quite nice. I'm very proud of what I've done and what I've achieved as Martin Neeves Photography and Film. And it's a nice way of keeping that name going, even though it won't be my name anymore. And then finally, eventually, I suppose the end goal will probably be surgery, some sort of genital surgery. Not all trans people go through that. At the moment, I feel as if that's what I do want. However, that may change. Often it does with trans people. They once they're on hormones, they feel that that's enough for them and they're happy. But really, that's nobody's business but my own, really. It's just one of those things nobody would know about that apart from me. So, yeah, that's not a big deal for anybody else to worry about. So what I want to do is sort of reassure you that in booking me as Katie, you're not actually going to be taking any sort of risk at all. I'm still going to be the same person, the same character, whether that's good or bad. I'll still have the same sense of humour, the same values, the same integrity. I'll still have the same skills and the same experience. I'll still have 31 years experience as a professional photographer. I'll still have 8 years experience of professional videography. Another thing that might be crossing your mind, don't worry about how I'm going to be turning up. I'm not going to be turning up on jobs dressed as a French maid or as Lily Savage. My whole aim is to blend in. I don't want to draw attention to myself. I just want to turn up just as a normal woman, a normal female photographer on a job, a videographer. That's my whole aim. Here are some photos of me as Katie, just to sort of hopefully put your mind at rest, so you can see that I'm just dressing in just normal clothes. It's just so normal, it really is. Also, if you're worried, if I'm photographing an event or anybody where somebody, say a group shot, and somebody at the back makes some sort of silly bigoted comment or something, my whole aim is either to ignore it or to diffuse it using humour, and then move on. Certainly, I don't want any awkward situations at all. My whole aim is to make it as smooth as possible, as easy for me and as easy for you as the client. Also, I don't want you to worry about what names you call me if you use the wrong names or the wrong pronouns, because I know it's difficult for you. It's a hard transition for you as well, because you've known me as Martin all these years, and it's going to be difficult for you to sort of to get your head around calling me Katie and she and her. But hopefully, in time, the more you see me as Katie, then the more you will just call me Katie and refer to me as she and her. I think that will all just come, but I won't be offended at all if you get it wrong, because I get it. I get this. I know what the score is. You won't offend me, honestly. I feel quite scared at the moment about all the big changes that are going to be happening. I mean, this thing's massive. You can't really do something bigger really to yourself than this. I certainly don't make life easy for myself, do I? But then also, as well as those sort of negative feelings, there's a strong sense of excitement. I'm really excited about what's to come and my new life as the woman that I've always been, but I've never been allowed to show. I think there's lots going to be happening. There's lots of good stuff that's going to be happening, and I hope that you can be happy with me. So what I aim to do is do regular vlog updates and blogs and everything. So feel free to ask me any questions that you like. I won't be offended at all about any questions at all. In fact, I quite enjoy talking about it. It's my favourite subject at the moment. So just remember that it takes balls to be a transgender woman.